What's up guys, Ted from Immersion here, and I am back with another DM's Guild review. As I've stated before, there's going to be a whole bunch of these. I recently joined a DM's Guild Facebook group, and lots of the lovely folks there said, hey, review my content, so that's what I'm going to do. So up next, or I guess up first here in this particular video, is a module on the DM's Guild called Children of the Fae. We can look at it here, it's by Stephen Wallace. And it's going to give you all sorts of Fae-related stuff for your game. Primarily, I will say it's mostly playable races, though there is a bestiary section at the back, but most of those are bestiary NPC versions of the playable races you get at the beginning of the book. $5 to purchase. As you know, the way I do things, I will only reveal to you some things. That way it doesn't discourage you to purchase if you so choose. So, you can go ahead and see here, we have following races and subraces: half Fae, Lar Fae, I'm probably butchering the names here, and Arboreal Fae, right? So these are your tree people, your half Fae, half human people, and I'm not exactly sure how I would describe the Lar Fae, but we'll move on. And then stat blocks as well, discussed here: Nine Tails, Sprouting Tender, Chocolate God. Additionally, there's a backstory for each of the unique stat blocks. All races and corresponding stat blocks have been designed to be usable within the Forgotten Realms, but also any other publishing setting. The goal of creating this book was to bring Fae from other parts of the world into Dungeons and Dragons. While the Dryad, Alcide, and Gilly do have roots in European legend, the rest do not. They come from tales ranging from Southeast Asia and to Africa, Inuit tribes, and so on. So, in addition, there are 9 beautiful pieces of art, and we'll just take a look at it right here. So, now I will say that, one, I was provided this for free as a review copy, but that being said, my opinions are my own, and I can't speak to the copy that I received if any updates were made to it on the DM's Guild from what I'm telling you. So you'll have to bear with me. Perhaps if you pick up a copy off the DM's Guild, there may be some tweaks and adjustments that mine doesn't have. Number one, though, is we don't have a like bookmarks or links to jump to various sections. Again, that could have been adjusted by the time it was put on the DM's Guild, but in my opinion, that's that's the number one thing you want in a PDF, is the ability. Obviously, searchability is huge with the ability to jump ahead. So we can scroll down here, and we can see basic. And well, part of that may also be because there is no table of contents; it just jumps right into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one of the races and one of the monsters in the back. That way you guys can take a look and see what you think. My only, and it's a minor complaint, is there is the art, but the art is primarily for the playable races and not for the monsters. Again, most of them interchangeable, but there are some unique kind of variants, if you will, of the monsters. So I would have liked to seen more art, but hey, I can sympathize with that. Art is expensive, so you get by with what you have. So let's go ahead and jump ahead. So I'll do the Kitsune Race because it's popular, and in, you know, popular culture in a lot of different forms, from everything from Pokemon to other various animes. You have nine tails and multi-tailed foxes, so here we go. So a odd sort of half Fae in that they have multiple forms. They're either born as either a fox, or as their non-Kitsune parents' race, but know instinctively how to change between forms even as infants. They grow up using both forms completely, back and forth. The first Kitsune ever sighted was born of a coupling of a Fae and a humanoid. Beyond that, they only propagate through relations with non-Kitsune. Kitsune can be found in almost any society, golden eyes and many tails. They have two forms, a mortal form and a fox form. Both of these forms are the natural form, meaning neither the fox nor the humanoid form are a disguise, so keep that in mind. Also, things that force shape changers to change to their natural form, they both function as their natural form. Not like a druid, where they would get forced back with something like a moonbeam. In their fox form, they are completely indistinguishable from a normal fox, except for their additional tails. The coloring of Kitsune's fur is indicative of the region. See, there's a question mark here. There's a couple of grammatical typos as I look through this. So again, may have been fixed in the DM's Guild. Keep an eye out for that, though. Their recent ancestors hail from, as a Kitsune's fur will change in subsequent generations to fit their environment. In humanoid form, they look just like any other member of their humanoid parents or race. Similar to their fox form, the only thing that makes them stand out as different is their multiple tails and their eyes. Regardless of the form they take, Kitsune will always bear their golden lupine eyes. So here we have a drow Kitsune with 3 tails. So golden eyes, which stand out as a drow period, even if you didn't have the tails. So what do you get? Your Kitsune... Oh, I guess I should have said that half Fae, we'll just scroll back up to the top. Half Fae is the base race, Kitsune is a sub-race. So half Fae base race is a +1 to your charisma score. Basically, your age can vary. It depends on what your mortal parentage is. Alignment tends to lean towards neutral or chaotic. Obviously, that's not as important. Still base 30 land speed. Size is based on the parent race, so small or medium. Fae ancestry, duh. Advantage on saving throws versus charm. Magic can't put you to sleep. Dark vision, but it is only out to 30 feet. While you cannot see as far as other races, colors are as vibrant in the dark as they are in bright light. So you have color dark vision, but it's only to 30 feet as opposed to 60. You are considered Fae and humanoid with this of 2 worlds. That was something we saw in the new Minotaur and Centaur Unearthed Arcana. This kind of, you are affected by both things. Fae training, you have innate knowledge of how to use weapons and armor commonly used by Fae. You gain proficiency with light armor, daggers, rapiers, short bows, and blowguns. Interesting combo. You can speak, read, and write common, 1 common language of your choice, and 1 standard or exotic language of your choice. So that's what you get for your base race. Then, for being a Kitsune on top of that, you get a +2 to your wisdom score. Your size is the same, but your fox size, when you're in fox form, is tiny, to be expected. Fox form, you can change form between that of a humanoid and that of a fox. As an action, you can shift from one form to another. When in fox form, your ability scores and your hit points stay the same, which is awesome to have your hit points as a fox, but still not being, like a few hit points. But you lose access to your class's abilities while in fox form, so that's your trade-off. But the only thing I would be mindful of is that unlike a druid, who kind of gets a well of temporary hit points, you still have your hit points. So if you die in fox form, you die for real. When you shift into a fox, all weapons, equipment, items you're carrying merge into your new form. You do not gain benefits of the magical items you're carrying or from armor you're wearing. Makes sense because it's merged into you. Despite your tiny size, you are surprisingly quick. Your movement speed does not change. Quick brown fox. When you are in your fox form, you are naturally harder to hit due to your small size. Your AC is 10 plus your dex plus your wisdom mod, so you kind of get a monk's unarmored defense, which again helps to bolster. Basically, I'm not saying you're a one-trick pony, but your main thing is your ability to turn into a fox. So making you hardier in that fox form makes sense. Bite. You have a bite as a natural weapon. When you make a bite, it's 1d4 piercing plus your strength modifier. And 9 tails. You have a number of fox tails in both forms determined by your wisdom score. If you have a wisdom score 10, below 10, you'll have a stump of a tail that does not grow hair. If you have a score of 10, 11, 12, or 13, you have a single tail. For every point of wisdom you have above 13, you grow 1 additional tail with a maximum of 9 tails. Whenever you roll a wisdom-based check, if the number on the die is lower than the number of tails that you have, you may choose to make the die equal to the number of tails you have rolled with 4 modifiers. So again, a couple typos. While it's not possible to raise your wisdom score above 20 by conventional means, you should discuss with your DM ways you might be able to consider this during the course of your campaign. This might be a reward for a major crest, the boon of a god, the effect of magical items, or something else entirely. Nine-tailed Kitsune or some things of legend after all. So again, I didn't want to go through all of these, and I said I was only going to do one, and I will do this one, and I picked this one specifically because it is popular, but it's not my favorite. I mean, don't get me wrong, turning into a fox is badass. And there's a ton of potential ways you could use being tiny and a cute creature to get information for recon, to travel about the woods being not being harassed and that kind of stuff. So it has its benefits, but that's basically your whole shtick as this race, is your ability to turn into a fox. Again, the Nine Tails feature is cool, but things to consider. Alright, now we're going to jump way ahead and skip through a bunch of these. You can see the art as we're going through. Now we're going to go to, where was it? Right after this, the Feral Wanderer. Because I thought this was really cool. So this is a dryad that has lost its tree. So if you know anything about dryads from the Monster Manual or from kind of popular culture, they're a fey spirit that is bonded or bound or is, anyway, to a tree in which they live. And that's essentially their form of their life source, and typically if their tree dies, they also die. But let's read right here. Either it died to a disease, to fire someone's axe, it's dead and gone. When the connection to their tree, a magical part of themselves, was destroyed, this caused a break in the dryad's psyche, causing them to go what can only be called feral. Feral wanderers act more like beasts, going off an instinct to cause harm, and any intellectual creature than any intelligent creature, let alone fey. I must have missed something. Act like beasts, there you go. They are difficult opponents in combat due to their magic resistance and naturally tough bark, causing weapons and magic to have a difficult time making purchase on them. The one saving grace for those that fight a feral wanderer is that they are unfocused and will never focus fire, instead lashing out at everyone and everyone. It's probably supposed to be everyone and everything. Which can be a godsend and a bane for casters and those without much self-defense. So again, typically, I wouldn't probably sprinkle these through. I wouldn't put them everywhere. I would sprinkle them through my campaign, because the fact of the kind of mythology behind the Druid of dying when their tree is destroyed. I like the idea of, in a few specific scenarios, that the Dryad, like, it's almost like a revenant in a way. The tree is dead and gone and they continue on, but they've kind of got this whole feral aspect. So let's take a look at the stat block here, right? Challenge rating 9, so pretty tough. Constitution modifier, or Constitution saving throw of +8, dark vision, passive perception of 6, seems low, but it matches up. 10 plus your wisdom modifier of -4, 18 AC due to that natural armor, and 153 hit points. So Fey magic resistance means advantage on saving throws against magic and spell-like effects, so they have that. Intimidating presence. Whenever it makes an intimidation check against a creature, it can use its reaction to give itself advantage. It uses its strength modifier for charisma and intimidation checks, which is good because its charisma mod is a 0, strength is a 5. Ironwood Bark. The Feral Wanderer has hardened a bark to the point where its AC is 15 plus its Dex mod, gives us the 18. Vicious Retaliation. Whenever a creature deals more than 15 damage to a Feral Wanderer with a single attack, if the Feral Wanderer attacks that creature on its next turn, its attack is at advantage and deals an extra 1d6 of damage. I kind of like that. And Unfocused. Yeah, this is kind of what we read about. The Feral Wanderer takes more than 15 points of damage from a single source. It will make at least one attack against that creature on its next turn. If it does not take at least 15 damage from a single attack, it will attack creatures at random, not spending more than a single attack per creature if possible. Multi-attack can make up to 3 Ironwood Fist attacks each round, but each attack must be against a different creature. +9 to hit, 2d6 +5 bludgeoning damage. And that's the Feral Wanderer. Again, I didn't want to go too much into this, as if I go too much into the stat blocks or too much into the races, it'll pretty much give you everything you need to know to do the one or the other. So, one race, the Kitsune Race here, and the Feral Wanderer, a cool concept for a druid without a tree. I really like the idea of the fun stuff you could do with that. And, yeah. That is Children of the Fae, folks. So let me know what you think in the comments below. There will be a link in the description if you'd like to pick up a copy for yourself. And yeah, let me know. Did you like this module based on my very quick kind of going over the description? Did the little errors and typos and things that I mentioned put you off? You still gonna pick it up? I'm curious. Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you for the next DM's Guild Spotlight.